path to 444,000 deliveries, or maybe just production units, in Q1 of 2023. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. So the stock did a little bit of moving this week. Up $12 today. That's pretty good. Zoom out. 6% on the week. Not as exciting. 2% on the month. Uh-oh, now we're looking not as good. Oh, right. It's still a tough year. Zoom back in. Yeah, $12 today. That's pretty awesome. Bit of excitement around these delivery numbers, it would seem. So what do we got? Well, that means Elon's got 445 million shares. That's $5.4 billion he went up today. He should be taxed on it. Right, but he's going to lose it on Monday. That's how it always works. So, big numbers. How did we get here? So let's take a look. I'm not going to do big reveals on these. By the way, let me know in the chats if you can hear me. Good to see you, Jeff and David and Digital Blade and Mark and Greenpad and Who Is This? And I haven't seen MD Hofsty yet. Tesla Karav was in here a little bit earlier, but I haven't seen him yet. John was in here. And there was someone I'm forgetting. David. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Oh, yeah, David. There you are. Good, good, good. So how did we get here? So looking at the models S and X, there's some questions there. How did we get here? Move this out of my way. There we go. How did we get here? Clean up my desktop a little bit. There we go. So Model S and X deliveries have resumed in China. Now, maybe this hasn't hit quite yet, but production appears to be steadily increasing quarter over quarter. I believe we can see a small increase from the previous quarter. I'm saying 12% more. This is the only number about which I feel overly optimistic. Fremont, 3 and Y. Well, you got to know Fremont is tapped out. Fremont can't possibly make any more vehicles. How could they? The factory just doesn't have any more space. But something interesting we learned on Investor Day was the work of the Magi of Shanghai, Tom Zhu, who came over and instantly improved Model Y. You can see his Model Y outputs, and instantly in Q4 improved Model Y output in Shanghai, in Fremont, with fewer hours. He's bringing the magic of China to the factory there, and in ways that don't seem to be hurting. So that's why I'm confident we will see a small increase. I'm saying 3% over the previous record quarter. And remember, this quarter doesn't have the same holidays that we saw last quarter. It doesn't have a Thanksgiving or a Christmas. It really only has New Year's Day, which isn't really celebrated in factories the same way. More with a little overtime pay than with time off. They don't close down. Shanghai, this was the big question mark. Surely these numbers... Oh, Shanghai, well, they've got, Chinese New Year. That's a big holiday. There is a big shutdown. And a lot of the... and a lot of the folks who gave early numbers 2-3 weeks ago were saying, oh, Shanghai's going to miss. It's going to make the whole quarter miss. And I kept saying, I don't see that. And now we've got news out of China. China's already at record domestic sales. And we know they've been exporting like crazy. That tells me this is going to be another big record in Shanghai. And if we look at the chart, these are good numbers. Tesla sales in China by month and quarter. Yeah. These are just the ones we know about. They don't include the last 3 days of the month. So there's a lot of room to grow. And I'm not counting a lot. I'm counting a little. 5% bump from the previous quarter. Things I've seen from the air have been inconclusive. I tried my trick of counting the condensers, the cooling towers, and I was unsuccessful in reaching any meaningful conclusions. So this number is based just on the data from what we've seen in terms of Europe and China deliveries of Chinese-made models 3 and Y. So that gets us there. Now we got to ask, well, what's going on in Berlin? You know, Brian, you're only showing 30,000 in Berlin. I had a question about this on Twitter and on Patreon. 30,000, that's got to be low. That's got to be low. We know they hit 4,000 early. We know they hit 5,000 a week. By the end, surely this should be 40, 50,000. And I'm saying it isn't. Because even though, yeah, we hit 4,000 in February, we hit 5,000 in March, very good. And by the way, if you go back and look at the Shanghai ramp rates, this is right in step with that. This is doing just what it should be doing. But if you look back at the announcements, I guess I put that out of order. Come back to that. If you look at the announcements in Shanghai, when they opened, they had already hit 1,000 a week. Now, that wasn't their actual run rate. Those were burst rates. Those were tests. Those were, can we actually do it? They'd already demonstrated 280 a week, but we need to see if we can actually hit 1,000, and they did. That didn't mean that quarter they hit 90,000. When they hit 2,000, 3,000, there we go, 3,000 in March. So by the end of the quarter, they should have had 100,000 sales. They didn't. These are burst rates. These are tests. Boy, it's so cute and quaint looking compared to what it is now. Oh, they grow up so fast. So it's kind of overly optimistic to count that number in a vacuum. So then we've got Texas, same story. I'm saying it's up 15% from last quarter. Now what's exciting is, in Texas, they have hit a run rate of 3,000 a week, but that was a while back. That was in December. They're surely at 4,000 now, 4,000 plus, I would guess. So they should be doing quite well, but we'll see. And again, that is probably a burst rate. We'll see. But they're saying that means they could do 150,000 cars. Now, why is that exciting? Well, this factory is meant for more than one model. We know it's meant for the Model Y and the Cybertruck. If they're doing 3,000, 4,000 a week, and I think at this point we're probably closer to 4 on a steady basis, but let's just say 3, it's 150,000 a year. That's from one line. If you look at Joe Techmeyer's videos from yesterday or today, they're putting in the second and third lines now. The capacity for Model Y is going to triple. So if they're at 4,000, that's 200,000 a year. That's 600,000 Models Y just from Giga Texas, to say nothing of the Cybertruck. And then we've got our good friend Semi. 0. Why 0, Brian? Well, I do have a source at Giga Nevada, but I have not asked him what the number is, and I think he would have told me if it was something other than 0. I think the number is 0 because we got some news here. A recall of 35 semis. It's a third-party component that manages the air brake system for basically the parking brake. Some of these articles are pretty poorly written. It makes it sound like you can't stop the truck. But truckers that I have seen on Twitter have said it's a fail-safe system. It means you can't unlock the brakes, which might explain why some of them had to be towed. But perhaps this is a misunderstanding. It doesn't matter. The point is, all the trucks were affected, a total of 35. Digital Blade wants to know what happened to the 36th one. It might have been built, it might have been the first one built, and it might have had a different part. JJ wants to know, is Nikola the leader? So far, in electric semis, I believe they are, by a substantial margin, the leader, at least in production. I haven't seen sales figures, but so far, they're in good shape. I'm worried about their cash burn, and you should be too. So then we've got everybody else's estimates. And we're getting through this super, super quick. Good old Gary. Gary says Tesla's investor relations compiled Q1 consensus is 421,500 units. 421.5, right there. Just make it bigger. 421.5, the median of 420,487, almost nice, and a standard deviation of 16,000. So on this, these are deliveries, not production. So that means one standard deviation only gets us to 437, or as low as, what would that be, 405. Somebody's thinking they're only going to deliver 405. Really? And this is everybody. Baird, Barclays, Bernstein. I always thought it was Berenstain. Bank of America, Canaccord, the usual. Goldman Sachs, the usual. So these numbers are pretty goofy. Now, some of the other YouTube prognosticators, folks on Twitter and YouTube who do this thing that I also do, had some pretty pessimistic numbers prior to this week. I saw numbers as low as 418 for deliveries, and that would be interesting. And when I put out my number of 444, I mentioned it. I shared it on Tim's show, Oracle Investments, a week ago, week and a half, and I was the outlier. And now, magically, everybody else has kind of moved up to my numbers. So that's fun. It's fun. Oh, and these guys, they'd like to huddle in a little group. They like to do their own thing together as a group. So it's fun. And there are people who still look at folks who miss the estimates by wide margins and call them the prognosticators of the century. And they are not. There was a time early on when I believed having the best data would make me very successful. My computer's making some funny noises. Hope it's not related to the storm. It's not a storm, it's just raining. So good data. There we are. So there are reasons to believe we could, that good data would be enough. But I think the real problem is I'm just so beautiful, the message gets lost and it's distracting. But that's okay. That's okay. So we're going to get into the questions. Before we do, I did want to say tomorrow morning, there's a very special show. I've been working on this since the beginning of the channel. 2 years. And it's just so daunting. There's so much to it. Take over the world, 10 steps. I'm so excited. And this will be going on in the morning. There's a link in the description. There's a link in the chat. Who is this? Posted it earlier. It's going to be so good. I'm so excited about it. I'm like nervous. So we'll get into the Q&A where we discuss all the good stuff. I want to thank my patrons who get early access, bonus content, all that good stuff. Keep the channel going. And thank you to the super chats. Anthony, I appreciate that. I will get to your question. There was a couple others. Benjamin, thank you. And I think that was it. Yeah. Thank you, Benjamin. I appreciate that. And yeah, Benjamin says, like the stream, fellow plebes. And it's a super chat, so you guys, you have to do it. And Anthony wants to know, when you lap the competition, there is an expectation that you need to have extreme responsibility. I expect Tesla to have that. Too much evidence that Elon is not aware of this and working towards that goal. It's interesting. There was a report today that said it is very possible that when Giga Nueva Leon comes online, it will be the most water-efficient automobile factory in the world. And I believe that's true because there is a shortage of water in Nueva Leon. And it's not just that they can't capture the roof water. That becomes the groundwater. They're far enough from the coast that it's not just washing out to sea. There just isn't enough water. Nueva Leon is very big. The greater metro is something like 5-6 million people, I think. It is a very big place of amazing industry. So let's take a look at the chats and see what we're missing. Okay. John's watching for a magic trick. No magic tricks today. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Hello, Daniel. Let's see. Elon is planning to visit China in the near future, it seems. Yes. And I've been asked, why? What does this mean? And I think what it means is the plan to expand Giga Shanghai was put on hold in January. I think this is a discussion about how to get that back in motion. That's what I think it's about. And also, he hasn't been there much. Since lockdown, I think he's only been there once because it was really hard to get into China. Let's see. Fremont could go to the new manufacturing plan for new models, which may take less space. I think that is definitely the plan at some point. I believe they're going to work it out completely in Mexico before they start rolling it back to existing factories. They've said they want to do 2 factories concurrently, just like they did with Berlin and Shanghai, Berlin and Texas. If they did Mexico and an additional location, perhaps Indonesia or Canada or Japan or Korea, who knows? They could build them at the same time, but they want to limit the amount of rework whenever possible. Tell us all your secrets. Too many. I have too many. Let's see. Very exciting. Watching the Giga Berlin videos and the car loading area is very busy. It is very busy. And if you want to talk about margins a little bit, there's a lot of silver cars, which has a $3,000 paint premium on it. It's a good 20%, 15 to 20% of the cars going out of there. That's going to be noticed on the bottom line. Yeah. A few dozen test semis seems normal. Send them out, find the problems, then go full production. And I think they will still build in limited quantity on that pilot line that they have where the semi-delivery event was held. But I think until we won't see big numbers until they expand the footprint of Giga Nevada, where they've said they will be ultimately building it. And I have not heard of any groundbreaking on that. And my source confirmed as of last week, no groundbreaking. Nicola is sad lately. YouTubers united to trick Wall Street with lowball estimates. Yeah, but the YouTubers have come around. Semi-EV savings are real. Only a couple use case scenarios will remain. Long haul, super heavy, ice road truckers. Yeah. Let's see. Hey, JJ, thank you. Thank you for stating facts. Like Nicola is the leader in Class 8 trucking. Here's 5 Nicola shares. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Nicola is the leader in EV big rigs as of today, for sure. I would very much like to know how many of those big rigs have actually reached the hands of customers. But now that we're into the year, I believe they can sell them with EV incentive credits that will help bring the price down to much more reasonable levels. Yeah, Steve Sutton. Did Anthony just give $20? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Thank you so much. Every like equals 1,000 extra deliveries. Boy, that would be cool. I don't know how many likes I've got. That would be one way to do it. How many miles from the sea in Mexico? When I checked, I want to say it was 2 hours away. Not prohibitively far. Not prohibitively far. What time is the stream for tomorrow's show? Can't scroll that way far up in the chat. 9 a.m. Pacific is what I think. I'm pretty sure 9 a.m. Pacific. How many Teslas on the road have had at least some value add from an Optimus bot? I would guess 0 would be my guess, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Oh, wow, I've got quite a bit of chat I haven't caught up with. Let's see. Could they move S and X out of Fremont to another factory? They could, but I don't see why they would because the volume is too low. And honestly, I don't know why they're even still making them. They're kind of a halo car. I think it'd be more likely that 3 and Y would be moved out of Fremont, and Fremont would be the limited edition plant where they make things like the Roadster. But I don't know. Oh. Cyberwall unveil in China. LFP Powerwall with a flare. So Powerwalls can already be LFP. Yeah, I think we've got someone in the chat who will confirm that. I think what we're looking at there is the V4 supercharger. It's the right shape, and the on-screen text translated to something like super electricity movement or something like that. Oh, Anthony, what are you doing? Thank you so much. My gosh. Oh, wow. Okay, we'll get to that in just a second. Is anyone drone videoing Giga Nevada? No. And if you know someone who would be interested, let me know. Let me know. I did have a contact I reached out to today to get footage in Mexico, but it looks like a long shot. So I'm still working on that. I will pay handsomely for someone to help me out. That one report of them air shipping cars was so silly. Boy, that local minister of development was dreaming. He overstepped. You can't say something that silly. Mexico will reveal to the world that we can exponentially grow past our shortcomings in manufacturing. And on a side note, I'm curious where Optimus will be made. Will they make them on each Gigafactory or a special factory? The line's going to be small. Even if it's a very high volume line, it's going to be small. My current guess would be in a new building on the site of Giga Texas, because they've got a lot of engineers there. But I think the development is still taking place in California, so it could be a new building somewhere near one of the existing factories that they have. And who knows, maybe throw a boring tunnel over to it. Met God in Wilderness is the only one I've seen with a Lathrop drone. I don't know if he's the actual owner. He is the actual owner. He went out there himself. I did watch those. But there's not much to see apart from the lot. And in his most recent video, he said, why are there so many megapacks just sitting there, not being shipped out? There's a logistics problem. And that's not it, I don't think at all. I think the problem is they ship them out in a batch. And there was something like 96 on site. Do the math, 2.5 million each. It's pretty good. Almost $235 million worth of megapacks. They ship them all out together. And one megapack installation could be anywhere from 20 to 250. So it could be that they're waiting until they have the order complete to send them out. And it could be that those are going to be going to Giga Texas, but I don't think the site is quite ready for them yet. You can call me Tony if you like. Okay, thank you, Tony. The Great Power Wall of China. Might airship roadsters for 250? Yeah, but why? Why? They don't. Do they airship other supercars? I don't know if they'd need to. Fremont, Model 3 and Y, move Model 3 and Y out of Fremont, make bots there. Yeah, it's too much space to make the bots, but the space is just so cobbled together, it's just not efficient. And to think that was the apex of what a factory could be 20 years ago. It's insane. Let's see. Boring tunnel from Giga Berlin to the mine that is just throwing away the water. Yeah. Could empty megapack... Oh, could be empty megapack frames waiting. They're wrapped. So I don't think that's the case because they're already sealed. So I think they are complete. Good point, Charlie. Early Optimus production could be near Engineering HQ. I think that's true. All right. Went only internet streaming for my media. Can't do mainstream. I can't do mainstream media. When I want to find information, I don't mind using mainstream media when I need headlines. But when I need actual analysis, I am not going to watch CNBC. I'm not. They don't provide a level of quality that I consider meaningful. And when it comes to things outside of Tesla, I'm sure they're just as bad, but I can't tell. I can't recognize it because I don't know. That's been an unfortunate thing I've seen. The Wendover Productions video, it was so riddled with factual inaccuracies that it made me unsubscribe because I can only assume that he's done the same thing on other videos where I don't know better. And I have to curate the quality of information that I put inside my head. It's not because he was sour on Tesla. That's popular. I understand that. No, it's because he's giving bad information. That's the same thing with Bloomberg and CNBC. If you really know how to get 50% returns, you'd be so busy getting 50% returns that you'd never tell anyone else how you did it. They're not in the business of helping you make money. They're in the business of selling you information. Optimus will be on every factory floor. They're already testing in factories, so really they need them rolling off the line next to where they use them. But they're so compact, they could ship very easily. You could FedEx them in a box, really, in a nice rugged moving case. I think it might be a little heavy for that, though. It can do its own Google searches. Oh, ChatGPT can do its own Google searches on ChatGPT 4. That's fascinating. I pick experts in the field and I follow them. That is the way. This is the way. Oh, I heard Elon was in talks with the White House about building a Chinese partnered battery factory in the U.S. Any truth to this? I don't remember who it was. I don't remember Tesla being involved, but that's a thing. That's a thing. CATL is building factories. Everybody is. Everybody's building factories. And now we need to consider experts like Jordan Giesecke to keep an eye on, will they be able to source enough materials with which to build the batteries? And I think they will, but his expertise is greater than mine in that regard. What do I think of the open letter on AI pause? I think it's not going to work. It would just drive it underground. If you and I and fail trains agree to stop development, I just know that Digital Blade Canada and Jeff are going to continue with theirs, even if they do so in a clandestine fashion. The genie's out of the bottle. We can do what we can to rein it in a bit, but it's not going to work. And what is AI? Are we talking about the images? Are we talking about the music, the voice? It's too many things. It's everything, and it blew up so quick. I was talking with my kids about how ChatGPT is part of so many people's everyday life now. And then I asked them, do you remember when the beta was opened? And they're like, a year and a half? No, it was like 3 months. It had been 3 months when I asked them that. And it's disruption on a scale hitherto unforeseen. So that's wild. China won't stop. China won't stop. The US won't stop. Google and Apple won't stop. Microsoft, nobody's going to stop. And you can say, no, you have to. And they go, great. Then this isn't AI. This is something else. Just call it something else. And then you have to define what is AI. And now you're asking legislators who don't know what a YouTube is to legislate. It's just, I don't see how to get the genie back in the bottle. FSD could, in theory, get altered to make AGI. Not on purpose, but as a side effect. It absolutely could. And Dojo is AI. Your car is AI. Is that regulated too? I don't know. Yeah, they're not going to waste 6 months of their productive lives debating this and pausing. They're not going to do it. Apple won't stop. They just won't go anywhere. Yeah. And ChatGPT is nutty how it will change the world. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, do they have to space out megapack deliveries because they're so heavy? So a normal semi is an 18-wheeler. The ones they use on these, I think, were 26-wheelers. You've seen them before. They're the ones that brought in the mega casting machines. They're still standard road trucks. They might need a pilot car or something. They just have more wheels to spread out the weight over more pavement. And you have to be careful which bridges you use because you're overweight. Elon just moved on the latest beta full deep learning as opposed to labeling directives. Oh, anyone remember how Microsoft's first attempt at AI bot? That was Tay. And Tay became racist so quickly. And that is a reoccurring problem. Facebook's did the same thing. That's a poor reflection on the humans whose data was used to train the set. And by humans, I mean us, people. Megapacks weigh 57,000. Is that the new ones or is that the new 2.0 ones? Because I do know they're overweight on. They're definitely overweight. Somebody can look that up and see if that's the new ones or the old ones. Yeah, 82 is what Charlie's saying. Megapack 2 weighs 82,000 pounds, which is why they have to use the new trucks. They can still put them on rail cars. They won't be overweight for that. I wish they brought Clippy back and he was racist. That wouldn't be good. Oh, yeah. So, what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Leave it all in them comments below if you're joining me late. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you so much for the super chats, Tony, and JJ. Oh yeah, JJ. And the third one, no, that was Tony again. Thank you. And Benjamin. Thank you, Benjamin. Should remember that. One of my son's middle name is Benjamin. I can remember that. So very good, very good. And yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out. Join me in the morning. I think 9 o'clock, John. Pretty sure. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm stressed out because I've still got more to put together to get it done. Because this week has been very busy. And then on Sunday, I'll be doing a hangout here on the main, not here, but on the main channel. And tomorrow's live stream is on the main channel, I should mention. And we've got Tim from Oracle Investments will be joining us. And yeah, we'll do a live hangout as the numbers roll in. He'll be in the car on the way to a Yankees game. Can't fault him. So, thank you guys, and I will catch you clever robots on the flippity flop. Ooh, let's end the poll for crying out loud, Brian. What are you doing? Yeah, most people think about 440 will be production. Oh, and I should mention, moving forward, my production and delivery estimates will be the same number. Even though they won't be the same number, I will call them the same number because eventually the two numbers will coalesce. There you go. Alrighty, guys. Take care.